do tell.
Okay.
Is it rolling, Bob?
We're on. Go.
There was a time in my life I thought I'd have to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you've got to say: I release and I let go, let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Wow, thanks for sharing your spirit and your joy. That was lovely. And those high notes there too, Cindy. That was fun. My name is Linda, and I welcome all of you that are here in the building and also at home. And we've got some old faces that haven't been here. Well, not that old, but haven't been here in a while on their back. So it's great to see everyone. This morning, in choosing something inspirational with the welcome, I went to Tom's spiritual bookcase, and I found this book by Parker Palmer, On the Brink of Everything. So I see some heads nodding. Oh my gosh. He has his doctorate in philosophy of sociology. He's written 10 books and I don't know, a bunch of essays and a bunch of poems. And so I opened up the book, and this is the page I fell upon. And this is a note that he made on Thursday, January 14th, when he was spending a week in a woods. I feel like this is in my eyeball. Mm-hmm. Woke up at 2 a.m. and found myself regretting some things I got wrong over the past 77 years. Wished I had been kinder or braver or less self-centered than I was, and had a hard time naming the things I got right. Remembering that the 2 a.m. mind is almost always deranged, I finally got up at 4 a.m., dressed, made some coffee, stood out into the dark and cold for a bit, and saw Venus gleaming low in the southeast, the goddess of love. That helped. Then I read the January 14th entry in A Year with Thomas Merton. Once again, my old friend had a word I needed to hear as he reflected on the complex mix of rights and wrongs in his own life. And he wrote, I am thrown into contradiction. To realize this is mercy, to accept it is love, and to help others do the same is compassion. Merton goes on to say that the contradictions in our lives are engines of creativity. It's true. If we got everything right, or everything wrong, there'd be none of the divine discontent or the sense of possibility that animates our growth. What we get wrong makes us reach for something better. What we get right reassures us that the better is sometimes within our reach. Memo to self. Remember that you are never in your right mind at 2 a.m. Get outside and air out your brain as often as possible. Look for love in all the right places. Venus isn't a bad place to start. When all else fails, make coffee. Now I'm going to take a nap. So, thank you, universe, for this page and the serendipity or the synchronicity of finding Parker Palmer this morning. So, let's look at our vision, mission, and values. Our vision, a world powerfully transformed through shared spiritual awakening. Our mission, advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. And our values, abundance, acceptance, community, diversity, integrity, joy, and love. And our daily word. Let's not forget our amazing children.
Yeah.
Unity of Appleton sees the divinity in all children and nurtures their unfolding spirituality. And our daily word is protected. So here we are on Halloween. I find my protection in the light of faith and truth. I smile and act frightened as I recognize the neighborhood children who come to my door wearing scary masks and costumes. Children of all ages enjoy playing make-believe. Pretend fright is part of the fun of Halloween. Now and then, and in response to an unexpected and unwelcome challenge, more serious thoughts of fear seep into my mind and upset my emotional well-being. At the first hint of unease, I remember that all of the protecting power of God is as near as my next thought. I say no to fear and yes to faith. My confidence grows as I practice the divine presence, discovering not only the protecting power, but also the guiding love and wisdom of God everywhere I go and in everything I do. And so from Psalms chapter 18, verses 31 to 32, for who is God except the Lord, and who is a rock besides our God? The God who girded me with strength and made my ways safe. And now we have some music.
We do. And this is a song that was actually written by a unity group, including myself, some years ago. So enjoy listening to the journey.
Wake up, you sleepyhead, your life's going by. Each moment that passes is lost, now's the time to put on your traveling shoes, step out the front door, take a chance, take a risk, in life there's much more. If you're always looking behind you, you'll only see where you've been. But the way is forward, the way is within. So wake up, now the journey begins. What's that you're thinking now? It's too late to start. But your spirit is ageless, she's deep in your heart. So let go each thought that binds you, your dreams take hold. Can't you see you're alive and you're free to grow? If you're always looking behind you, you'll only see where you've been. But the way is forward, the way is within. So wake up, now the journey begins.
Morning. I like that transition. Ooh, before I even start, I'm getting clapping. What a deal. All right, that's me.
Hey, push your little button.
Yeah.
First.
Oh, see, I remember to shut that off.
Turn that one green. Just hold us a second. It goes all the way up.
Technical difficulties, people. Here we go. That's green now.
There we
You're on now.
Oh, thank you. Telling me to take my, oh, that's so nice. That is so nice. I will not lie. So this word resilience has been in my head for weeks now. And I'm pretty sure I shut this off. I thought I did. Yeah, I did. Okay. Anyway, we'll work it out. I'll figure out where to stand. Right here. Okay. I shall be resilient where I decide where to stand. So, like I said, this word has been in my head, and when I knew that, we needed speakers, I said, that's what I want to talk about. Because I want to think about this word that's been in my head for such a long time. And that word is resilience. And so the teacher in me, because I taught college for years and years and years, that's why I've got my little PowerPoint thingy and I'm going to click the button and all that stuff, because that's how I do things. So it's always nice when starting out to make sure that everybody understands what that word means, right? Because it can mean different things to different people. So to me, and the stuff that I looked up, resilience is a couple different abilities. And so what I want to talk about today is kind of a big picture of resilience and then kind of a smaller picture of resilience. And so what resilience is the ability to recover from the bad stuff that happens to us. Because for everybody, right, every single person in this room, whether it's health challenges or relationship challenges or financial challenges or something, life kicks you in the teeth, we have to figure out what we're going to do about it. And so that's resilience, to be able to, as the phrase goes, bounce back from the bad stuff that happens to us. It's also the ability to take those bad experiences and to say, okay, what do I have to change? Because that's adapting, correct? And then get past that, move forward from that instead of staying in that very, very negative space. And besides that, it's also the ability to grow, ideally, that we can use this as a learning process and then we can move forward. So that's what resilience is, according to the powers that be. That's kind of what we want. And I know that do not touch your body, Paige. Okay. I know that I would like more of that in my life. As you can tell, I'm not used to wearing one of these. And so today is a big day. What is today? Halloween. See, I thought somebody was going to move Sunday. It's a big day when you have kids my age or younger. It's a very big day. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about Halloween as kind of the big picture thing. Because Halloween is all about what?
Candy.
Candy and fear, just like Linda talked about, right? I didn't know what the daily word was, but it sure is applicable to what I'm talking about today, because it is about being scared. And so for that reason, I hate Halloween. It is, to me, the worst holiday ever. I have anxiety. The last thing I need is stuff that is going to scare me. I can come up with plenty of that in my own brain. I do not need to see it on the television. I do not want to read it. I hate gore. I am terrified of blood and needles. I am, as my children would say, a class 1 weenie with a big W. And when I get all scared and stuff, then they just look at me. Yes, I am a weenie. I am a proud weenie. I have no problem with that. So my problem then is that Halloween is all about scary, scary stuff. So then it makes it my least favorite holiday. And except for the candy, I will not joke, that is the best part, right? It's not my favorite holiday. And so about 2 weeks ago, I read this article that made me rethink Halloween and kind of horror as a genre. And so while it seems really weird to talk to us about horror, I am going to today because it's all about what I want to cover. So this gentleman's name is Stephen Graham Jones, and he wrote an opinion article for the New York Times on the 15th. And for whatever weird reason, I read it. I'm normally not going to read something by a horror author because that's what he is. But for whatever weird reason, I read it. And he really made me rethink horror as a genre and Halloween as a holiday. So he says that horror serves a really good, powerful purpose, and that it offers people comfort and solace. Now, to me, that is cray-cray. Because that to me, those are images, they stay in my head, I hate it. But on an unrelated note, like 2 days ago, I was reading another article, and it was how people are coping in the pandemic, favorite books that people were reading during the pandemic. And this woman wrote that she has been immersing herself in post-apocalyptic literature. And that's how that has helped her. Because when she finishes and puts the book down, there aren't zombies in her driveway, right? And then she looks at the real world and says, well, that's not so bad. And I went, wow, what a way to look at it. But if that's what helps you cope, fantastic. And the other argument that he makes, which I thought was really powerful, is that watching a scary movie or reading a scary book is fantastic because it ends. The point of horror, he argues, is that there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Even if and there usually is just one person left. Everybody else kicked the bucket. There's one person left, but there's always redemption at the end. And I will be honest, I have never watched a scary movie in my life. So I don't know if this is true or not, because like I said, I'm just a weenie, right? I once had to listen to the movie Halloween at a friend's apartment because my boyfriend wouldn't walk me back home. This was in college. And until I stayed for the movie, and I sat in the room with my knees up and a pillow in front of my face. So I've heard a scary movie, but I've never actually watched one. And I was so happy when it ended. But seeing as I'm talking about resilience, well, if you think about it, resilience is knowing that the bad stuff ends, that bad space that you might be in has a light at the end of the tunnel. And so he does make the point, like I just mentioned, that there's usually one person standing. And he says that one person standing in the movie is a tribute to human nature, to the resiliency and the sheer doggedness of human nature to keep on going, even when things are incredibly terrible. And I liked this paragraph so much that I had to write it out. Let's see if I can stand over here and take care of it. He says, despite the damage, the terror, the hopelessness, the pain, despite her friends and family falling around her, our heroine does that one thing that human beings are so, so good at. She keeps going. And that flipped that genre on my head for me, and flips Halloween for me as well. Because I don't like it when I'm walking down my sidewalk and I see the kid with the gore and the knife in their stomach or the arrow in their head or whatever it is. Because the older they get, the grosser they like to be, right? My kids are now 11 and 14, so gross is like in, you know. And they discuss how they're going to make their wounds look real. And so now instead of seeing that as complete nutcaseness, I can see it as teaching themselves resilience. what seems to be terribly, horribly, bloody, gory, and bad isn't necessarily because it's fake, or if it's real, because at some point it ends. And I thought that was super cool. So for me, Halloween, I can flip it and say Halloween is an example of resilience. Big picture, we're teaching ourselves resilience. Fantastic. Now on a smaller picture, there's lots of things that are scary in our life, right? And so there's a piece of, all right, stay right here. This is killing me, by the way, because normally I'm a mover, so to have to stay in one spot is driving me nuts. Again, I shall be resilient and I shall overcome. So there was a word that popped into my head when I was thinking about resilience, and to me, it's one of the scariest words in the English language. Scariest word in the English language. And it is change. Resilience has been in my head is because of all the stuff that happened to us. Because we are now a spiritual community that is in change, right? That is in transformation and kind of in flux. And it feels so weird to be up here because ever since I've been coming to Unity for the past, 2.5 years now, maybe even 3, Lydia's been up here. And that's the person who I associate, standing up here. And so as tiny little person that she is, she has left such huge shoes to fill. Like I feel that there's great big huge footprints right up here, right? And that's why, and I don't know, the background, I don't understand, I don't know what happened, and it's not my business, and it is what it is, right? And so we have this change, and as a community, we have to come to grips with this change, and we are. And so that's why I think this word resilience has popped into my head. Because a friend of mine said, well, what's going to happen to your church now? And I went, I don't know. What is going to happen to my church now? And then the very next day, I believe, that word resilience popped into my head. And it's been in my head over and over and over again. Because I know that as a spiritual community, Unity of Appleton has been through lots of change. I just haven't, lived here for that long, so I haven't been part of it. And so I wanted to share with you for kind of my second part of this talk about how resilience is to me. So when I think of resilience, I think of, I wish you could see better, right? But it's nature is so incredibly resilient. Vines and stuff will take over houses to the point that you can't see them anymore. Little tiny seeds will break through concrete to get to the sunlight, to get to the light at the end of the tunnel. And if you think about concrete as a metaphor, right, it is heavy. It is pressing down on you. And to have for that little seed to have the strength eventually to break through that concrete and get to the light, I think that's a fantastic metaphor of resilience. And so I love that picture. And that to me is what it's all about. So when I'm taking a look at resilience, and of course, I got to look stuff up and kind of see what people say about resilience. The good news is that there's no researcher out there that says that resilience is a personality trait, something that you cannot change, that you are born with. Resilience is something we can learn. It's a tool. And so when I saw these 4 tools, I went, oh my gosh, we are doing this at church all the time. So this part's kind of like I said, a tribute to us and resilience. Because one of the things we focus on a lot here is to have a positive but realistic outlook, right? Not little Pollyanna, rose-colored glasses, everything will be great if I just bury my head. Positive and realistic outfit. Well, that's good too. But a positive, realistic outlook is so important for us as human beings, for us as a community. And I'm looking back there and I'm seeing Carrie. And Carrie is one of the human beings that I know who is a glass half full, 3/4 full, usually kind of human being.
Yeah.
And I think that's the spirit that we have in this place, is a positive, realistic outlook. We are here together because we believe in something greater than ourselves, correct? We get up and get dressed and make it to the computer or make it to this building because we believe in something that is greater, that is great within us, right? But that is also greater and bigger and larger than ourselves. And we celebrate that when we get together on Sundays. to me, the most important part of resilience is what we can change, especially as somebody who has anxiety. When it first hit me like a ton of bricks. I was in my office and I thought I was having a heart attack. And it was terrifying. I was in my 30s and I thought I was going to die. And a coworker had to take me to my doctor, only to find out you're having a panic attack. I'm like, what is a panic attack? And I just had a great big one. I've been having them all my life, evidently, but then I got to put a name to it. And that's a big, scary thing. Because then it's like, whoa, because as those of us who have anxiety know it, it's in your head. And that's such a hard thing to get out of your head sometimes. I mean, for all of us, we know that, right? Lydia called it monkey brain. And so then you learn with whatever our issues are to focus. The most important thing we can do is to focus on what we can do right then and there, which is as simple for me as reminding myself to breathe. And I was hoping that Priscilla was sitting in the back because I was going to mention her. She's downstairs with the kids. I've done some breathing classes with Priscilla. And when things get bad, I will hear her voice in my head. And that is one little tiny thing that I can do, but it makes things so much immeasurably better. And so for all of us, right, for resilience, there's that tiny thing. Sometimes it is just tiny that we can do that helps us adapt and bounce back. Marilyn is here. Yay! I was so excited when she walked in the door. I get excited every Sunday when there's more hinders in chairs because it's so delightful to see everybody. And I don't know about you, but I really like Sundays now, ever since I've been coming to Unity of Appleton, because I see these faces. I sing with the band, and it makes me so happy that I almost want to cry thinking about it. And so that's what we're doing, though, aren't we? We are practicing resilience when we see each other because of this social support network that we have together. And I think that's pretty fabulous. So when we are together, we are building resilience. And so some things that people have said lately have really kind of stuck in my mind. And we had rehearsal on Thursday night. And just so you know, little blurb for synchronicity. We've been practicing really hard and we've got new songs. And we're really excited because next month is New Music November. And we're super excited to be bringing some of these songs to you. And one of the things that we are going to do is have the lyrics up on the screen like we used to. The problem is you don't get to sing them, right? Because unfortunately we can't do that yet. But we have taken popular songs and, as we call it, we've unitized them and changed the lyrics. So we're going to have the lyrics up there so you can see them. And we were debating whether or not we should do that. Because when lyrics are up on the wall, people want to sing. And unfortunately, we're not supposed to, right? Do congregational singing yet. And then Tom said something that was so beautiful. He said, lyrics are prayers. And it really struck me. And I was like, yeah, you are so right. Lyrics are prayers. And so we just sang a song called The Journey. And when we were doing this on Thursday, I looked at some of the words. Because as a singer, you learn the notes and the words together. And sometimes you are thinking more about how to create the vocals than actually what you are saying. And it's easy for us to forget when we sing songs over and over, the meaning behind those words. And I looked at this little bit of the journey and went, oh my gosh, this is all about resilience. Because your spirit is ageless. She's deep in your heart. That's the idea of something greater than us. So let go each thought that binds. Let your dreams take hold. Can't you see? You're alive. And you're free to grow. Well, if that isn't resilience, what is? Right? The idea that I am alive, I can adapt, I can move forward, I can grow from this experience. And it also rhymes. And I didn't know until John said it that he was part of the people who did that. So yay, see? So many connections, which I think are fantastic. And then last Sunday, we got meditation back into the service. And I don't know about you, but I love that part. Because one of my favorite things about service is meditation. And as John was talking again, because resilience has been in my head. I've got this talk coming up, what exactly I'm going to say. And the words just smacked me in the face because he says, become aware in this moment. As you breathe in life and breathe out love. Well, if that isn't resilience, right? And this is a conscious decision, correct? As you become centered, focus attention on your beautiful heart, your beautiful Christ self, something bigger, greater than ourselves. Become filled with gratitude. There's the little thing you can do, right? To become filled with gratitude. Even if your life is crummy, there's something that's good. Your right foot might not hurt. And you can be grateful for that, right? I know, I'm a dork. And allow into yourself, right? That which fills you with peace and light, making that conscious decision to turn it around. Like Steve said last Sunday, to turn that dial, right? That dial is resilience. It's the same thing when Linda talked a couple Sundays ago, when she talked about our poet laureate, Jo Harjo, and how she went through some real traumatic times as a child. And now she is the poet laureate of the United States. And I opened up her book, and one of the very first poems was also about resilience. I'm going to read it to you because then I'd be going way over time and I don't want to do that. But just the examples even that we've had in our speakers have all been about resilience. I was out of town for Carrie. I didn't hear Carrie, so I can't use your example. I'm sorry. But I'm sure it was all about resilience too. Because it's really what we're doing, right? That's what our messages are. Carrie's nodding, so evidently it was. So I'm realizing that so much of what we talk about is that word resilience. So Brenda's up here last Sunday being the chairperson, and we go through all of our spiels. And again, we say our mission and our values, and sometimes we don't think about what those words mean. And so Brenda reads our affirmation of prosperity. We've all said it a million times, well, maybe not a million, but a lot. And the last line just blew my mind. Because if you think about it, if we truly can practice resilience, we are radiant. That is glowing, as Lydia would say, that is glowing, y'all, right? Glowing with unlimited possibilities. How cool is that, right? Because we are so often trapped in this right here. But if we can practice that resilience, we are radiant as individuals, as a spiritual community. We are radiant with unlimited possibilities. That is a happy thought for me. I don't know about you. So speaking of happy thoughts, to wrap it up, Halloween. This evening I will be going out to my children and their friends, and there will be things that scare me. And I can say, it's okay, because I've got my spiritual community to help me with resilience. I've got my own practice of resilience. These kids are figuring out resilience. So Halloween is resilience. But I can look at this holiday in a very different way now, and in a way that makes me personally happy, because there's a benefit that's very tangible at the end of this resilience, because Halloween is resilience, but with candy.
So I now invite you to prepare yourself for some reflective personal prayer and guided musical meditation. You can think about the resilience that we just heard so nicely about from Paige. And after I guide you in this musical meditation, I ask that you remain in silence. So if you choose to, you may now close your eyes. Feel the weight of your body as it relaxes into the chair. And let go of today's anxieties. Feel your feet on the solid earth beneath as you go and let go of tomorrow's worries. Become aware in this moment of your breathing as you breathe in life and breathe out love. And as you become centered, focus your attention on your beautiful, heartfelt Christ self. Become filled with gratitude. And allow into yourself that which fills you with peace and light. And so we begin. And now I invite you to gently return to this place.
That was lovely. That was lovely. And really well done, Paige. Yeah, thank you. So I want to give you a treatment plan for desensitizing to horror movies. Start with Disney. because Disney's got the hero's journey down pat. And then, let's see, I could tolerate The Village, Shahala's The Village. And there was another one I was going to recommend, Get Out. Do you see that movie is contemporary, and it's about racism, but it's called Get Out. And one last thing I'm so inspired by your talk. So, king of horror fiction is Stephen King. And he has a book out on how to write, how he writes. And he explains that when he was a little kid, he's got an older brother, and they're outside running around, playing outside, and he had to poop. There was he had to go. He couldn't make it back to the house. So, he squatted in the woods, and he did that. And then to wipe, he used some leaves, and well, guess what kind of leaves they were? Yeah, so that was like a real life horror, those poison ivy leaves. And life has all these little horrors in them. So we have some announcements here. The first one I don't want to forget is we lose our daylight savings time next Sunday. So you fall back an hour. And if you forget to do that, you'll be here and the doors will be locked. So fall back an hour. You get that extra hour to sleep in.
No.
Oh, is that? Oh, you lose an hour?
Yeah, we lose.
No.
No.
You gain an hour.
Spring ahead.
Yeah, but we lose sleep.
Oh, well, schedule maybe.
I think he's wrong about that, but see me after. We'll figure this out. Okay, so some other announcements. The Way of the Heart is starting on November 7th after the discussion portion of our gathering. See Jay, and you guys know Jay, but for more information. So back by popular demand, actually. Number 2, if you can't make it to church, the service is available on YouTube and the community Facebook page, live or at your convenience. And thank you, Bill, for arranging that. And if we could use some more help in learning how to do that if Bill wants to take a Sunday off. So see Bill about that. Thank you, Bill. Number 3, please stay for the optional discussion. After our closing song, we'll do a Zoom discussion here. Number 4, for prayer support, contact Silent Unity, and that number is 1-816-969-2000, or visit unity.org. And I've called them really 24/7. It doesn't matter when, and they're so kind. I mean, my cat was ill, and I was distraught about my ill cat, and I called, and they were so respectful. And Bedford is available for prayer on the second Sunday of every month, or go to the Contact Us page at unityofappleton.org and leave a message, and he will get back to you. And note, well, this is checked frequently, it's not checked daily. So this is Bedford, and he'd like to say something.
Yeah, it doesn't have to wait until the second Sunday. I had somebody come up last week and ask for prayer, and that's fine with me. So if at any point you want prayer, I'm available.
And we're so grateful for your wisdom and for your skills and thank you, Bedford. And help is wanted. We still are looking for a place for Reverend Sandra McKinney. She'll be coming from Eau Claire to speak with us on Sunday, December 12th. Could you provide dinner and a place to stay on Saturday evening, the 11th of December? And let Cindy know if you can do that. Or
Lori in the office.
Or Lori, okay. And lastly, we are also looking for someone to help, again, with YouTube. And we've mentioned this. And it's easy to learn, and we'd like to have many people who know how to do this. And this position right here, it's fun. I do want to say, the first time you get up but you guys are so kind. And those of you at home, they're not going to hurt you. So the one time I did have a panic attack was my very first time getting up in front of a congregation at Unity. And I just had to read something. I'm like, oh man, I'm having a panic attack. I wonder if anybody can tell. I was talking really slowly. I was hyperventilating and having to say the words in between the hyperventilations. But anyway, they said, what's that?
Resilience.
Resilience, yes. So get back up on that horse. Okay. So if you'd like to share and speak aloud the affirmation of prosperity together. Unity of Appleton is alive with the energy of spirit in the flow of divine abundance and radiant with unlimited possibilities. And our celebration of giving and receiving. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I joyfully give and willingly receive. I give in love, and I trust God as my source.
Thank you, love. Thank you, love. Thank you, love. I just want to thank you, love. Thank you, love. Thank you, love. Thank you, love. I just want to thank you, love. Thank you, love. Thank you, love. Thank you, love. I just want to thank you, love.
Are y'all back already? Thank you. So these our offerings. Whoa! Excuse me. This is such a blessed thing to receive your offerings, and we've asked Bedford to share from the spirit of that. So I'm reading his words here. These our offerings are from the abundance of our ever grateful hearts. They are an expression of the infinite love and compassion within each of us. In giving, we abundantly receive. Thank you, Source. And our prayer for protection, if you would like to speak that aloud.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
1, 2, 3. Ready to go. Do that again. Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
One presence, one power, divine spirit in me. One presence, one power, divine spirit in me. Thought to prayer, prayer to action, divine purpose, divine attraction. One presence, one power, divine spirit in me. One presence, one power, divine spirit in me. Thought to prayer, prayer to action, divine purpose, divine attraction.